Alrighty, what is up, guys? I have my slabs ready to go, and now it's time to roll them up. And I want to show you this slab and take a look at this. What you're gonna do is you're gonna compress the sides as we have already, right? I want to demonstrate this idea of beveling the edges, because look what would happen if we didn't bevel the edge. If we didn't bevel the edge, we rolled up our mug, pretend this little slab is our mug, and you have some overlap. Right where it overlaps, you're gonna have double thickness, right? That's not good. Now, the alternative is you could put the edges together like this, but this seam is not as strong because there's less surface area touching, and it's hard to compress the clay inwards like this way to close it, versus if you do an overlap joint, you can kind of pinch it together, squish it together. So I'm going to show you how to do an overlap joint where you're not getting the double thickness. Now, the double thickness is not a terrible thing, and maybe part of your design is going to show off that seam. But say you didn't want a seam, like some of my students don't. Say you wanted a cylinder like this, very little seam. Well, you can kind of see where I worked it. Or something like that. You want a seamless cup, then you're gonna want to take a ruler and bevel the edge. So I'm just taking a ruler and I'm making a 45-degree angle bevel. Then I'm gonna flip it over, do a 45-degree angle bevel on the other side. Now, you can use a ruler to make this bevel, or if you have like a small roller, this is a brayer, a mini brayer that is used for in printmaking. And I have a tool addiction, so I just keep buying too many tools. I make tools, I buy tools, lots of tools. Okay, I have beveled both ends. I'm just going to show you how to make a mug out of this rectangle, and I also want to speak real quickly about your clay and its memory. What you don't want to do is bend your clay and then straighten it out, and then bend it and straighten it out, because every time you bend it and straighten it out, the clay is getting weaker and weaker and it's gonna break. So ideally, you're gonna do it one time. You're gonna bend your clay one time. So I'm getting this wet. I'm gonna score this with my needle tool. And I'm gonna flip this over and score this side with my needle tool. Get a little water down. Good. And let's use this tar paper template. This is where the tar paper template really shines, because as you can see, handling the slab without the tar paper template, it's very floppy. The clay is not supported, right? See, this is even shorter, it's all floppy. So, bend it just one time, keeping this cylinder vertical. I'm gonna overlap where I scored. And you want to keep it vertical, because if you lay the cylinder on its side, it's going to start to oval and squash, and that's not what you want. And then you can take your wooden knife and reach inside of your cylinder, and you want to support your clay from the outside with your tar paper and just start to compress that clay together, compress that joint together, squishing those scoring marks so that they interlace. And I'm even going to blend some of this clay up. Side, turn this over, and do the same. Now, you can see I still have a seam, so what I want to do is I'll support the clay from the inside always. Tiny bit of moisture on my finger. I'll just blend in that seam. So it's really critical that you're always supporting the clay from the inside before when you're pressing on the outside, and vice versa, so that you don't distort your mug. Unless you're trying to distort your mug like I did with this one, and I just very gently started to belly out the clay just with the inside of my wooden knife, okay? And of course you could always use your fingers too if you have not put the bottom on yet. This piece is already starting to get leather hard. You can tell it's a little bit stiffer. This one is super soft and squishy. Okay. Alright guys, in the next video I will show you how I like to put the bottom on and get a nice strong attachment. Okay, thanks guys. See you in the next one.